Page 5, Polka Dots. It's the last book of the series. If you've made it all this far, congratulations. You're going to learn a lot in this book. So again, if you're confused and struggling, go back and review all the other books and everything again, please, before you go on, because we're going to be challenging you quite a bit in this book. And when I say we are, that is, the book is, and I'm going to help. Let's look this over and see what we got going. It is a little over 2 pages long. That'll be nice, huh? You have treble clef in both steps. Treble, treble. Got to check those clef signs. No sharps or flats in the key signature. We're in the key of C major. Make sure you go do the C major scale, and you should be doing the arpeggio also. The C major arpeggio. I got videos on those. It's the trill exercise and the tremolo exercise are going to help you the most on those. Now on the scale, if you've been doing it like you're supposed to, then you should be going 2 octaves. On the arpeggio, if you haven't been doing it, you do 1 octave. But if you can do the arpeggio okay, then go ahead and start doing it 2 octaves. We need to start getting into that. The 2 octaves is a challenge, especially with the tremolo exercise. But please do the tremolo exercise. Just stay relaxed. Anyway, 4/4 time signature, I see a lot of eighth notes and a lot of repeated notes. And this is what this lesson is about. Using different fingers on repeated notes. Well, I've been preaching that for quite a while. Some people love it. They use it a lot. Other people hate using different fingers and they avoid it if at all possible. I am a big believer in it. I use it a lot. It helps to keep me relaxed. And it helps me to play them with a little more control, believe it or not. It's a little harder at first, but once you get the idea of doing it, then it's a little easier to use different fingers rather than the same finger. Because if I use, like here at the beginning, these G's, if I use the same finger, I tense up, especially if it goes fast. But if I can use different fingers here, it's like doing this. Like the fingers here, except you're just on one note rather than separate. You don't go that fast. I've been doing this forever, so that's what. You should do it in both hands. 4. You don't have to use the same note. Go slow. You could do this with the scales too. When you're doing it, you rather than here using the scale fingering, do that. I can do a lot of stuff with the scales on these practice stuff. This is good though, but you need to do it in both hands. Let's look this over. Right hand, you're starting there. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. And they want here. Yuck. Come on. These staccato things, I do them later. Right now, I'm connecting. I'm going to use thumb on that C. This way I can reach that. I don't see why I got to do this. I can do this, and I can reach it. So it's 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 1. 1, and up again. See, it has the ABA over it. You go up. If you have a short keyboard and it doesn't go that high, you just use the highest notes like this, the G's, E's, and C's, and all that you have. That's fine. That's really what this is on different notes. Second line. On page 6, look out on the first line. It starts out okay. You have a rest, you can come up. And you can use 4th finger on that rather than 5th if you'd like. The reason is because I'm a little closer to where I want to be. If I'm here, the hand is here. If I'm 4, I'm a little closer because I want to come up here. And during the rest, I'm going to come up. So, rest. That is an A, in case you're wondering. And you come down. A flat here, and then the second line, well, figure these out. See, these are the kinds of notes I have to figure out because I can't glance at that and see how many ledger lines they are. They get blurry. So I have to figure it out. And I see it's 1, 2, 3, 4 ledger lines up. Well, 2 ledger lines I know is a C, 3 is an E, so 4 is a G. So once I figure out what that note is, I simply pencil it in. It's a G. So I pencil in a G. And it's here. 4, 3, 2, 1. And on 4. And then again, 3. here. And that second line, third measure, that last note in that measure, you can finger however any finger, it doesn't matter. And then you go back and doing what you were doing at the beginning. Left hand. Well, left hand isn't doing a lot other than moving around. And which fingers you use doesn't matter. It's up to you. I don't like moving my hand any more than I have to, so I'm probably going to do a 3 and a 5 here, and then a 2 and a 1 here, because I don't have to move as far. And then I got to come up here, 4-2, and then a 5-1. That's a C, E, and then a B, F. Those notes you should know. And then you come back down here and I can do a 5-2, second line, 5-2, 3-1. You can use 5-1 on all of these if you'd like. You got plenty of room or plenty of time. There's rest. It's just out of habit. I tend to use different fingers depending on where it is. So put the hands together. And again, I might hesitate all over the place. Don't care. It's just here. This is a quarter note. So lift it up on B. 1 and 2 right there. You have to get off of this note a little early because the left hand needs it. And then it's up here. You get the idea. And you're constantly looking down at the piano to see where you're moving. But you got to glance up at the music to see what's coming. And you'll gradually work out a rhythm to this as to when to look up and when to look down. Be patient, it comes. Now once I have the notes kind of working together, then I go back real slowly and I get rid of all the hesitations. And so it's a steady beat throughout. And then I add in the articulation. Here, the staccatos here. And with the eighth notes, I'm using finger staccato. I'm not using wrist or hand staccato. In the past, we've always flexed at the wrist. Well, when they go quick like that, you don't have time. So I'm plucking the keys with the fingers. The thumb can't pluck because it's sideways. It's got to go up and down. But otherwise, I'm doing that. I'm holding my hand still and just plucking with the fingers. But on these, on the quarter notes, I can do the wrist. That's a good technique. We need to learn to do whichever, a finger or a wrist, whichever. So, and the left hand, I'm on the key and I'm bouncing off. Wrist, boom. You get the idea? You take it at your speed. Keep it slow, but put in the staccatos. And it's pretty much staccatos everywhere except for the end of the second line on page 6 for the whole notes and half notes. Those you hold out. Those are not staccato. Hold those out, connect them, and then go on. Then the dynamics, MF is mezzo forte, which is moderately loud. It's sort of loud. Not loud, sort of loud. You can do both hands here. It's the same. And it's the only dynamic given. Well, once you get into the music and you start feeling it, if you want to get a little louder and softer places, that's fine, go with it. It's like at the end of the second line on page 6, the last 2 measures there on second line. I might want to, I can go either way. I might want to get a little softer, yeah. Or maybe I want to put a little crescendo in there. That's interpretation. But then when you start the third line, you want to be mezzo forte again like you were. So you can adjust getting a little louder and softer in these things as you feel them. Now the speed, well, jocoso is playfully or happily or good luck with all that. It has to be accurate. So what can you do accurately? And that's going to be your jocoso. Well, it'll be different for everybody, and that's fine. Accuracy is more important than speed, in my opinion. Not everyone agrees with that. But that's what I teach. you.